everyone, welcome to the movie posters review from last week, and similar to the album covers in a way, but this was a lot more leaving it to your own devices to come up with your own movie poster ideas, based maybe on what you've been watching, or based on what you think would have made an interesting take on a movie poster, how you could do that, what the restrictions were, whether you were going to use additional software to add effects or titles, or whether you just were going to leave it as something that was open to interpretation. So again, really great fun week, and I'm pleased that you've all had a good go at this, and it's nice to see some of you back taking photos. I've not seen some of you for a week, so it's great. So let's dive in to the movie posters. There's 12 in here. Again, I'll have a quick flick through and add one that's been sent to me again from Brian. Thank you for that. So, here we go. There's a quick rundown, and some again have got titles on them, which is fab. So others not so much, but I bet you can guess them. So let's go straight in. Steph had messaged on the discussion saying she'd found a new app to put on her phone, which has kind of transformed her movie posters this week, and how she can manipulate and add text and effects on, and add layers as well, which again is something that we haven't looked at doing with this. It's not something that you can't do with any of your photos, but I think this just adds a different element, and you're able to get different, different elements within that. So rather than it just being a photo of let's say a garage door, you could then also kind of superimpose other things onto that to create a lot more representation of what because these are about films. So the idea was to try and get across the message, the themes, the genre, the style, and there's different ways of doing that, and that's a good one, and that's kind of what Steph's found, which really works for the ones that she's done through this. So this was Iron Giant, which worked really nicely. Again, in portrait, which a lot of film posters are, because you've got quite a bit of information normally to get on them, as well as getting across a visual representation of what that film is. So we've got this lovely shot, which we've got an effect on, which has brought out some yellows, and we've got a lovely contrast of the dark elements there as well, which has allowed the white, or the yellow as it is, the sky now, to really draw out the electric pylons, which we're calling giants, which I think is really works well as a interpretation of this, because you can see them on the horizon as well, very foreboding. And we've got this other one here that's cropped right in front of us, so it's works really. No, in all seriousness, it does work really well, Steph. And good to go back through the photo pool as well, because you'll see almost the point where Steph has found this app and this ability to change these and manipulate these, which just elevates them so much. Nancy, welcome back. Buenos dias, or what we're on now, nighttime. Buenas noches. Hope you're well. I remember us being in Park Hall doing this, so this is really nice to get a bit of a glimpse of some of the stuff we've done before. I love that. I like these. I'm not sure whether these are intentional spots added on. I'm not sure what's happened. Let me know. I'm interested. But what I am loving is this figure we've got here. So we've not got any information about the camera, but we were playing around with longer exposures here, and we had some tripods, which was great. So we've got this movement, which is absolutely fantastic. Very eerie, actually. A ghost-like figure in an old building as it is in Power Hall, so I think that as a poster for the film or a film Ghost works really well, and the black and white just adds that really kind of eerie, spooky element to it. You did another one as well with a longer exposure one that we did, which again works well in the photo pool. Paul, a right classic here, Taste of Honey, with a 1960s kitchen drama. I was trying to test myself who wrote the play. It'll come back to me. Anyway, we've got this kind of gritty northern old factory mill, grey, black and white, really nice, giving a sense of that gritty northern realism that A Taste of Honey was about. I almost came to it then. So much inferred meaning from this, again, because for those of you that know what this is about in terms of the kind of northern working class life, we're getting an indication of this. Nice to kind of have someone in as well. I'm not saying that that's a representation of her within this or what it's about, but it kind of leads itself really nicely to have this life, because that's what it's about as well. So we've got this kind of working class monolith factory and what life was like with that when they were going, and you've actually got someone in there, so I think it actually adds to it really nicely. Good job. A couple more coming up from Steph. Again, go back, you'll see just the actual single image of this, but the addition of text to bring that to life as a movie poster, I think, really well. And adds that kind of, as I commented on this, the kind of the unrequited love, which is Beauty and the Beast, the essence of. And I love this kind of, because you've got the emotion and the passion that comes out with this, with the colour as well. And the actual font itself, the style, is beautiful. I think it works really well, again, to kind of add that kind of the emotiveness to the film poster and what the film's about. So it's a really nice composition. Paul, another one. I loved this because this is one of my favourite films. But again, this is what you've got at home, I think. I don't know whether you made it, but I love it because it does look like the facehugger egg. And the green text works as a nice contrast and gives you that kind of, I don't know, sci-fi feel to me in a way. I associate those colours with the blacks and the greens. I think that's what kind of Ridley Scott went for with the original film poster of the green ooze kind of coming out of the egg, and so it's very symbolic of that as a genre at that particular time. Sci-fi slash horror, and the hand coming in is really good as well, Paul. Just really well composed, and it works really well as an actual film poster for that. Another one by you, which was Psycho, and again adding the text on it really kind of slams out as you've got this kind of splattering of blood, which I hope it isn't. I think I'd said it was, is that ketchup, lad? One of my favourite condiments. Not sure what yours are, let me know, interested. It was a black and white film, so I think you kind of recreating that with the contrast in the white tub with the plug hole is fantastic. I love the position in it as well, and this kind of, as I said, the slam of the Psycho almost jumping out as well, because we've got the drop shadow on it as well, which works really nicely. So really simple to do, but really, really creative, and that's what I like about this, and that's what I was hoping you were going to kind of do with these, is just wham, something that, even though it's literal, and there's a lot of kind of link back to the original film, how kind of I guess intriguing this kind of leaves you, and that's the beauty of a film poster as well. In some instances, it's kind of like, wow, what's that about? Was that blood in a bathtub? So good job, sir. Guy, Sankey, good to see you back. Where have you been? What have you been doing? You've taken some great shots, and you've titled them as well. Even though I was kind of going for mask until I saw it, and then go, yeah, of course, the Dracula, the red. I love what you've done in terms of the composition of this. And it doesn't need anything over it. Look at the fangs, the green, the light you've got on it, bringing out the detail and the contours is fantastic. Really well lit. I just think it's perfect for Dracula. It really is, and I can see it as an accompaniment to also the book as well. Let me just go back to it as well. What I actually like about it as well is the mask of it, and that element of mask, and the cover up that Dracula is, and the way he covers up. Double meaning. I really like that. How have you done this? Oh, I can maybe see the fish in my hair, but it doesn't matter. This was my photo this week, Guy, just because of the lengths you've gone to recreate that, whereas there's all this kind of analogue and digital, and Ray Harryhausen and the stop frame animation as opposed to CGI, and recreating something yourself is so much more pleasurable than just dropping in and cutting out something and doing it on some of the softwares like Photoshop. I'm so pleased because I think you've thought about it, and there's a lot of creativity gone into this. Brilliant composition against the back with the fireplace because we draw it out. We also get the perspective of height from somebody as well. So you're actually thinking about, where are the contours for somebody? Where could somebody be in terms of that kind of, being invisible and the items of clothes that kind of drawing where the features would be, I think is absolutely fantastic. Hats off to you this week for that, because it's inspired, absolutely inspired. Nancy, I already mentioned this, hadn't I? Dropped this one in because you'd done this other one for Ghost, which is even scarier than the Park Hall one. Even though, as we know when we were there, this is giving it away, like Pete playing bass. The kind of longer couple second exposure, and this trail that we had with of light coming off bits on the instrument. Just adds such an eerie element to it, an electric element almost. It's really cool. I mean, we did it for a made-up band called Carbon, but it works so well as Ghost, I think. Beautiful. Last couple, Paul, again, I liked this, The Thing from Another World, which is a real old film. And this artwork that you've done for it, I think works as abstract as it is, actually lends itself to how abstract the title is and what that is about. Was it like a 30s film? He comes down in the flying saucer and comes out. Fantastic film. And again, as I say, kind of adds that kind of intrigue. And I love the colour and the contrast with the text on it. Yes, it's really nice. That nice to see kind of, as I'd mentioned, you're actually kind of creating a background artwork wise. Thinking about it, it's great. Incorporating the two. Steph's Fatal Attraction was very close to Guy's in being my top one this week. Just because of how well you've got across, as I mentioned in the comment, that femme fatale thing. And I would guess it was you. I can see you. It's all in the eyes, which is how this draws in that kind of, as everyone talks about with the thirds in photography, and the eyes up here, striking, bringing you in, boom, fatal attraction. As I said, the femme fatale, the black background, the light. It's like a studio shot. It's absolutely stunning. Just really is brilliant. I'm made up for you with this one, with this week. You've just found such a mojo and creativity, which has pleased me no end, and hopefully it's pleased you, because this is what it's about. It's about being creative, and it's about being kind of adventurous with things, thinking outside the box, but also there's a real kind of style and design element to this week, because you can add effects to it and title, which brings out that kind of movie poster element. Just fantastic. And your last one, I think works really, really well. A little bit like Paul's Psycho poster. Clockwork Orange. Literal, but brilliant. And I love the effect that you've done on it. Did the time symbolise anything? It's been a long time since I read the Anthony Burgess book, or even saw the film. I might actually go back to that. Thank you for that bit of inspiration. I think the font works beautifully as well, above and below this central image, the Clockwork Orange. Just dive into that photo pool quickly. Hang on, let me go there. So we've got Face Off, which works really well, Steph. And some of these here, look, I loved this one, Lone Survivor. Again, I could have picked loads of these and gone through these. Please go back and have a look. Absolutely fantastic. Some more guys there, birds, that was very clever. 39 steps, really good. So here we are with Brian's, who did, was it out last year? Us, which is a fantastic film, I thought. And without giving too much away, because you should see it really. I love the kind of the intrigue that this draws you in of what the representation, what the film resembles rather. The cracks in the tiers. This is actually the cracks in the persona. I think it works really nicely. I love that you've put this on. I think that was even the similar font used, so it's really nice. Go back and look at that as a film poster as well, because you've got that kind of, there's a real eeriness about it of like, something sinister beneath that, which this really draws out very nicely. So top job, thanks for sending that. Well done everyone for this week. I'm really pleased with what you came up with. Look forward to this very colourful rainbows in rainbows. Let's see what it inspires. Take care, see you soon. Bye.